This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, and welcome to Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network powered by Raven International. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, the Dream Coach. This is the show where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love and rediscover the truth of who you really are. A lot of people believe that the beginning of the year is a good time to make a change that you've always wanted to make. Lose weight, start a new job, get out of a relationship that's not doing you any good. After all, that's where the concept of New Year's resolutions began. I disagree with this sentiment. In my opinion, the best time to make that change you want is now, not next week, next month, or next year. Now. This is especially true when it comes to dealing with relationships that don't work for you any longer. No one knows this better than my guest today, emotional wellness coach, Gloria Battini. A victim of toxic abuse herself, Gloria freed herself from the pain and feelings of self-hate generated by that relationship. She now helps other women heal and successfully go from breakup to breakthrough. Welcome to Dream Power Radio, Gloria.
Hello. Hi, Debbie. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I am so excited. And such an important topic to deal with also. Gloria, anyone who's been in an abusive relationship knows how hard it is to get out of it. So why don't you tell us about your journey? When did you first realize that you were in a toxic relationship?
Yes. So the moment of realization came when I gained my own clarity about myself. So for years, I was struggling with anxiety, with OCD, and these are all issues that don't actually allow to see clearly what is happening to you and around you. So I decided to work with a coach myself, and she really helped me reduce my OCD, which is now completely gone, but at the time, reduce it significantly. She helped me deal with my anxiety and finding ways to accept it in my life and cope with it. So once all this was done, I was then able to see clearly. And I really saw my ex for the person that he really was. It was really, really hurtful and eye-opening and in a way really shocking because that was a really long relationship. We had been together since the age of 18. And when the moment I had that realization, I was 32. So it's a long time. And it's a long time that I have spent thinking that something that was not normal, such as emotional abuse, I spent a lot of time very confused in that. So opening your eyes to that, it's quite hard. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I'm curious. So did you have these personal issues like the OCD before you got into this relationship, or do you think they were caused by the relationship?
I think I didn't have them before. As I said, we started dating when we were really young, and I never suffered with OCD before. I never had anxiety before. I have linked my anxiety and my OCD to my job for a very long time. And I think maybe in part that might have been true because I really had a high pressure job. I worked in central London in the events industry, which is really, really go, very hectic. And I do believe that had a little bit of a part to play. But I do believe that what I was dealing with on a daily basis in my relationship went much, much deeper than my job could ever go.
So when you did come to this realization and realize that you were in a toxic relationship, did you have any ways of trying to solve it or try to heal the relationship? Or did you come to the realization that it just had to end?
I would say it was a process. It was definitely a process. So first of all, I realized that what I was living wasn't true for me. So I was on this beautiful trip in your home country. We were in Monument Valley. And if you have been to Monument Valley, it's a very spiritual place. It's really charged with a beautiful, very powerful energy. I was there with my ex, but I had this moment by myself where I just realized that, hang on a minute, there is more to life. This life that I'm living, it's not actually the life that I am here to actually live. So I had the realization for myself first. And then I guess that then that combined to me healing from the anxiety and the OCD, then allowed me to slowly open my eyes to my relationship. I still wanted to work on it. I'm not a quitter. And especially when you have been in a relationship for such a long time, you have this sense of, well, is it going to be all gone to waste then? You kind of want to do something. Can we just work on this together? And I did a lot. I did a lot I asked for help to him and to his family as well. But when you are dealing with somebody that has narcissistic traits, they tend to gaslight you and not validate your reality. So everything that I was saying, stuff like, I think we really need to work on our communication between each other. I think that this isn't working. I was told, you're imagining it. I was told, this isn't true. This is what makes you think that this is just us. That's normal. It's just ups and downs, when it's actually not. After 6 months of that, I asked for help to his family one more time. And I really said, look, I really need some external help here, because he had lost his job again for the millionth time. And I just wasn't prepared to face that again. They told me, yes, we're going to sit down and have a chat all together. That never happened. And after a couple of weeks, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I just said, I actually need to protect myself and put myself first now, because this isn't working anymore.
So you did say that one of the things that was happening was that he was gaslighting you. What are some of the other ways that it felt like an abusive relationship to you?
Whenever we had arguments, for example, I must say that he never, ever physically abused me. I never, ever went through any kind of physical abuse at all. It was all very emotional and psychological. So other things that used to happen is, if I were to voice my concerns, for example, let's say financial concerns, which were a big thing, because obviously he was for long periods of times without a job. And even though I was earning well, obviously you are concerned, right? When everything is on you. So when I would try and voice those things, he would always try and twist it. And we would end up arguing for hours and hours, but big argument, sometimes 4 or 5 hours. And I would get to the end of the argument absolutely not knowing why we started it. And it is a very deep psychological manipulation that gets you there, and complete exhaustion too, because by the end of it, he would be like, okay, so why did we start anyway? And I'll be like, to be honest with you, my brain is fried right now. I have absolutely no idea. You see, then there was no point. You had nothing to complain about. So
what finally gave you the courage to walk away?
I think my own sense of protection towards myself. Like, it was me being like, Gloria, you've got to you've got to put yourself first. That nobody else is going to live your life. You've got to do this for yourself. And you've got to do it's survival, survival mode that just told me, no, you have to do something about it. Yeah.
At that point, when you made that decision, was it a clean process, or did it take you a while to actually go through with it?
No, once I was, okay, Gloria, you have to do it. I just did. I literally did. And I remember it was another one of those arguments on a Sunday afternoon. And I was just, my head just clicked, and it just went, this is never, ever going to change. Never, because this is just the way that he is. And so I just said it out loud, and I just said, look, I can't. I have to go. Like, I can't do this anymore. I have to take care of myself, because I tried everything that I could try, and it's not worked. So yeah. So once I had the realization, it was very, very quick. Yeah.
men who tend to be abusers like this often also tend to be narcissistic. So how do you define narcissism?
Goodness. First of all, I would like to say that, narcissism is a personality disorder. It is narcissistic personality disorder. However, there is a huge spectrum. Okay. So you don't need a diagnosis. You don't need somebody to be diagnosed with the personality disorder in order for you to recognize that they have abusive behavior and they have narcissistic traits. So if you're out there and this is happening to you, you don't need to wait for a diagnosis in order to realize what is happening and decide, make your decisions based on that. Having said that, what is narcissism? So a narcissist is somebody who has a very grandiose sense of self, which is caused by deep insecurity. It's that the opinion that they have of themselves, they picture it as a very, very high opinion. Everything from the outside has to be perfect. They are the best at everything, and they will manipulate other people in order to get what they want. Their attachment to you, to the person, it's about what they get out of that relationship. And that's one of the things that made me open my eyes the most, because I realized this person isn't with me because he loves me. This person isn't with me because of me and because I am me. You love, when you are in a relationship and you love the other person, you love them because of who they are. For a narcissist, it's not like that. For a narcissist, it's about what they get out of the relationship, in what way what is it that they're gaining from you? Is it pleasure? What is it? Is it the facade of a perfect relationship? What is it that they're gaining? Is it, for example, with me, I can imagine that it was the fact that I didn't ask for anything because I wanted to be with him. So I just felt like I was helping out all the time. And if he'd asked me to do something, I would, because I felt like that's what you do with the person that you love. But that is not like that when you are with a narcissist. It's very dangerous.
And actually, the difference between this type of abuse and physical abuse is that the scars that you hold or the woman holds is invisible. And often women find it hard to talk about it, either because they feel ashamed that they're in this situation, or because their friends can't believe that this person who to them seems like such a wonderful, lovely person is capable of doing anything like that. So where do they turn? I mean, what do they do?
Yeah. Absolutely. First of all, guilt and shame are the most definitely some of the feelings that people who have gone through something like this are facing on a daily basis, because a narcissist does play you on guilt, because they know that you will feel guilty and then do whatever it is that they want. So guilt and shame, definitely. And also there is that sense of almost like letting yourself down because you think you have let that happen to you. Right? You're like, how could I put myself in this situation? How could I not realize this? So if there is anybody out there who has gone through a similar relationship or who is in one right now, please know that you didn't do this to yourself. Please know that a narcissist can get to anyone. And it's not because it's you. It's literally their way of operating. You have absolutely nothing to do with this. So what you can do is, I honestly thank so much the online world, because there is so much information out there. So I would say, first of all, research. Make sure that you understand what is it that could possibly be happening in the relationship. If you feel like it's safe for you to leave, then just pack your bags and go. If you feel like it is not safe for you to leave, then my best advice is fake it, pretend if you have to, and get yourself ready to leave. And then when you have a safe place to go, when you have made a plan and you know that you can be without this person and not be bothered and they can't reach you, then just go. But definitely the online world will help. I would say start researching, find out the terms, find out the different phases, what is happening exactly. There are so many other coaches like me who specialize in this. So have a research on Facebook, on Instagram. There's so many out there that have free resources that can really help you to understand and start overcoming this. 2 more things. Work with someone if you can. Hire a coach, a therapist, whatever most resonates with you, who can help you heal emotionally and psychologically from this, because a lot of the things that you think are now normal, they're actually not. And you need to reteach yourself what is it that it's actually normal. And the second thing is, if you turn to family and friends, make sure that the people that you turn to don't know the person, because the narcissist will go to extreme extents in order to get to you. I have heard so many horrific stories of people having their friends turning against them because of he's such a nice guy, right? Because of that. So make sure that the people that you turn to are really, really trusted and they have your side, or they don't know the narcissist. That would be great. Yeah.
Okay, all great advice. We are going to take a break now and get back to this on the other side. We are speaking with emotional wellness coach Gloria Battini about toxic relationships, and we'll be right back. When is a car not a car? When it shows up in your dreams. Cars are one of the most common dream symbols. If you don't know why you're dreaming about cars or any image, it can leave you confused or scared. But that dream could be a solution to a pressing problem, or an insight into a solution that's been bugging you for years. Go to my website and sign up for a complimentary discovery session, and I'll help you understand why a dream is a terrible thing to waste. Go to thedreamcoach.net for more information.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, welcome back to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, and we're talking about how to get out of an abusive relationship with emotional wellness coach Gloria Battini. Gloria, right before the break, you were talking about ways that a woman can extricate herself from this type of relationship. But one of the ways that a man can hold their power over a woman is by making them feel unworthy of love, or at least unworthy of any love other than the love that they're providing for her. So it's easy to tell a woman who's gone through this, you are worthy, you're worthy of love, but it's hard to put that into practice, especially after you have been the victim of this kind of abuse. So how does a woman learn to heal from this and learn how to love herself again?
Oh, that's such a great question, Debbie. Thank you so much for asking that. It is something that it's very strange at the beginning, because it's almost like, you see, when the thing with narcissistic abuse is the fact that it's not something necessarily big that happens once, but it's the small thing that continuously happen every single day that then they literally condition your subconscious to think a certain way. And like you said, to think that you're unlovable or you're unworthy, right? So it's really important, because the brain learns by repetition. So if this is what we have, if that's the repetition of things that we have learned for a very long time, then the best advice I can give you is cut out some time for yourself. Start small, but cut out some time for yourself every single day, just doing something that you enjoy just because you enjoy it. It doesn't have to do with anybody else, whether it's 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever that is. Keep it a secret, keep it for yourself. And if you want to go a level up even, I would say if there was something that you really, really loved as a child, that you really loved doing as a child, try to go back to something like that, because that will make you reconnect to the person that you know that you are. And it will just give you that enjoyment every single day, bit by bit. You will build up your strength again, so that then you can start maybe working with someone that can help you then do the bigger part of the healing. That's how I started too. I was commuting to work on the bus because I was sick of taking the underground in London. I was like, I need to see up, I need to see the roads and the people and the sky and all that. So I purposely made my journey longer, but I was sat on the bus for an hour and I was reading. I loved to read as a child, and I hadn't been reading for 5, 6, 7 years. And I started bit by bit, I started buying new books again, and I would just dedicate that hour commuting to work and back, just reading. And that just made me, what happened there was just reigniting that connection with myself, because I had disconnected from me. When something like that happens, when somebody makes you feel unworthy, it disconnects you from your inner self. So the reading for me was rebuilding that connection. And funnily enough, and this is how the subconscious works, I was picking books of people that were struggling with their anxiety, but then they were making it through, they were finding a way. And I remember at the end of the year, I took a picture of all the books that I read, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. And I wasn't even paying attention when I was picking them. They all kind of like came to me that way.
Absolutely. I mean, it's synchronicity. It's like your subconscious knew that this was what you needed to do to heal. And our bodies, our brains, our subconscious are miracles we don't even know we have. And, it's funny that you were talking about finding things that you like to do. When I first started out as a dream life coach, I wrote a book called 101 Dream Dates, How to Say I Love You to the Most Important Person in Your Life, You. And what it is my version of the dream date, which the name is not mine. I took it from my mentor who came up with that name. But it's doing something that you love to do, that's something you don't normally do. And you do it by yourself, for yourself. And you do it little by little. And the more you do that and the more you make it with practice, the more you realize how much you enjoy spending time with yourself. And that is one of the steps to really learning how to love yourself.
Absolutely, 100%. And these kind of abusive, toxic relationships, they make us disconnect because they make us think that without that relationship, we don't function. But when you start working on the relationship that you have with yourself, you realize that you have everything that you need. A relationship isn't supposed to complete you. You're already complete. You've got nothing to be completed. You're already whole. But we have this misconception that the other half, there is no other half. You are both halves together for yourself, right? What a relationship is added value. So when you perceive it as added value, then you become really careful to whom you give this value to. You become really careful with okay, so who do I want to bring into my already whole person? But the reason why we feel unworthy is because we think that we have something missing. We think that if that person goes away or if that relationship goes away, whatever that is, we're not going to function. You will function. I promise you. People hearing this, you will absolutely function. Work on the relationship you have with yourself, and absolutely 101 dates with yourself. Yes, please, more. That's brilliant.
I think people are also helped by hearing examples. So besides your own situation, can you tell me about any other women who've been successfully healed from their emotional abuse?
My goodness. Yeah. I work with many, many clients. Some of their toxic relationships come from their families rather than a partner, but there are so many out there. And the moment you start looking and the moment you start seeing that you're not alone in this, you will see. I've had people that have decided to distance themselves from their families because they have put themselves first, because they have come to terms with the fact that their families were completely toxic to them, and they had to distance themselves. But now they're building businesses and they are starting new relationships and having the life that they deserve to have. I have other women who have been in shorter relationship that were deeply, deeply hurtful, even for a shorter period of time. I've worked with women that have been in their relationship for just 1 year. And some of them not even the full year, but it was so, so hurtful. But then you heal, you work on yourself, you work on the relationship with you rebuild it, and you have so much more to give. And once you heal, because obviously healing is a journey, it never stops. I advise everybody to keep on going with their healing journey until they're like 150, please. And there's always something beautiful to learn. But you get to a point where you start picking up on the behavior, you start picking up on the red flags, and you stand up for yourself and you say, no, I'm not having that anymore. And you're going on new dates and you're going to meet new people, and you recognize it straight away. And you're like, no, I don't want this person. I am not that. That's not for me. I'm not for that, but there are so many. Now, obviously for privacy, I can't, just tell my clients' stories, but actually I have a few testimonials on my Instagram. So people are more than welcome to look at those for sure.
Are all toxic relationships doomed? And by that, I mean, is it possible for the man to come to grips with what's making him an abuser and heal his own trauma?
Very rarely, but it is possible. However, I would suggest that you let them heal on their own, because remember how much this takes of you. Literally, if they say, I want to heal and I want to do this, it's unlikely. I promise you, it's really unlikely, because a narcissist doesn't have that concept. A narcissist is a narcissist because they don't think they're doing anything wrong. And they think that, when they manipulate people, they think that's right. They think that that's okay, right? So they don't recognize that can be a mistake, or that can even be hurtful to somebody else. But if you come across somebody that says, okay, I have been like this, I want to work on me, then give them time, and give them time on their own to do that, because you need to look after yourself. You cannot be involved in somebody else's healing unless you are recovered, because otherwise it will suck you back in. It's not healthy.
Once a woman is out of a relationship like this and she is gone through her healing process, when does she realize that she's actually ready to find love or find another relationship?
That's very, very subjective, My goodness, it varies so much. Some women need more time. For example, the relationship that I am currently in with my boyfriend, which is a very healthy relationship. He's a very healthy person. And I am feeling literally a love that I never have felt before, because I am given the love. I don't feel like I have to be completed. It's very subjective, but take time for yourself a little bit. That's always a good thing. And you will see, you will see when you're ready, you will feel it. You will feel excited. I purposely didn't want to date anyone for a while. I wasn't interested. I didn't fancy going on any dates or seeing anyone. So I took some little bit of time for myself. And then one of my friends was like, oh, come on, just have some fun. And then look, just have some fun. And then you meet the person that you really connect with, and that's okay. It's good. So take your time, however long you need. It's exactly the right time, however long you feel that you need.
Wise words to end this with, Gloria. I just have time for a final question, which is, how can people find out more about you and your services?
Absolutely. So my website is gloriabattini.com, and you can find everything that I have on there. I hang out on Instagram a lot, so please contact me, message me. My Instagram is Fearless Living XX with 2 kisses at the end. Fearless Living XX.
Wonderful. Well, Gloria, thank you so much for being on Dream Power Radio today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was such a pleasure. Thank you.
We've been speaking with emotional wellness coach Gloria Battini. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. If you have, please tell all your friends, follow me, and drop a positive review on your podcast site. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International.